Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever part of the world you may be in, whatever time of day it is. This is Dr. Don with a daily light point. I know many of you may be wondering, what happened, Dr. Don? You were supposed to have daily light points. You went on a hiatus. And you know what? I did. And that's part of what I want to talk about for the remainder of this week. So I did go on a hiatus. I went on hiatus um, and I traveled outside the country. And part of my travel experience was to support the awesome island of Grenada, who just was impacted by Hurricane Beryl. Their sister islands of Carriacou and Petite Martinique have essentially been devastated. And then there's areas of the main island that was also impacted. So I happened to have family there. And we spent time engaging with family and friends, also exploring ways to support the business. Support the business. Sorry, I'm so used to supporting businesses, supporting the island and the businesses within it. And we did find a pathway to support um, some local schools as well. And there's still more work to be done. And I'm excited about that. So if you do have a chance, just look, Google the government of Grenada, look for pathways to support the island. With that being said, I'm back in the States supporting our wonderful customers and clients. And this week, I want to talk about this concept around wellness. And it may carry into next week because I'm backed up and I got a lot to talk about in this topic of wellness. And the reason why I'm sharing that is both in this, appreciation for the importance of just having health, having life. Um, but also in the fact that I recognize that in all that I've been navigating and all the travel and everything, I haven't fully invested in my own sustainability, my own wellness, right? You start to lose focus on certain disciplines and maintaining your wellness. You may even hear some raspiness in my voice because I think I'm overcoming something over the last couple of days, again, with all the travel and everything that we've been experiencing. So, it prompts me to really think about it. So today I want to talk about this concept around emotional wellness. And maybe to some extent it falls into the category of mental wellness. And then we're going to navigate all aspects of mental, spiritual, physical, emotional. And I'm a fan of practicing, especially more recently in my life, mindfulness techniques, because as leaders, it's important for us to dig into essentially practices that enable us to self-regulate and to remain grounded. Because in the midst of emergency, in the midst of adversity, when we're challenged to show up in the lives of others, to provide guidance, to provide support, how do we ensure in our own wellness practices that we remain grounded, that we remain assured and empowered? And it starts with our own capacity to self-regulate. There are so many different mindfulness practices. So I just want to encourage you around a couple of them. For me, taking a moment to be present with self, even in the midst of adversity. Separate yourself from the environment by which you've been thrust into this emergent scenario. Maybe it's walking into another room, going into a quiet place in your home or in your office, taking a moment, turning the lights out, shutting yourself out from distractions, and simply breathing. Ground yourself, stand firmly on 2 feet or in a chair, but place your feet firmly on the ground. Take a moment to close your eyes and take a moment to breathe with intentionality. Breathe through your nose, out through your mouth. Repeat that cadence in that process. Take deep breaths. Hold the breath if you can for 30 seconds and release. In that process, allow yourself the opportunity to think about the things that thrust you into this state of reaction, this state of fear. Give yourself that moment to reflect on it, lean in on whatever you're experiencing emotionally, and then release it. Literally tell yourself, I'm releasing this emotion that I'm experiencing in this moment. I release any bound that it has on me so that I can show up and respond in the manner that is most effective for me and effective for those that I'm trying to impact in a positive way. Give yourself that moment. It only takes a couple of minutes in a day. If you can do it multiple times in the day, even better. Give yourself that moment to take a breath, to reflect, to release the negative energy, and to think about the positive energy, the positive experiences that are going to be required for you to draw on so that you can show up in the midst of adversity. Understanding that positive energy applies to the law of attraction, and we talked about that. And your capacity to promote positivity in the midst of adversity is a strength for you as a leader. Another mindfulness moment can be for you to reflect on what you're experiencing emotionally and not exhibit the emotion in a negative way. Share the emotion. A lot of times as leaders, we don't always say what we're experiencing, but we're due to respond. And sometimes starting a conversation off with Bobby, Johnny, Rebecca, whoever, I am feeling frustrated in this very moment because ... The minute you share that emotion, you allow it to be released. You allow it to not control you and for you to control it. As leaders, the strongest of us are those who can be the most vulnerable and transparent about our experiences, including those emotions that we encounter in the midst of urgency or emergency, in the midst of frustration, in the midst of adversity. So practicing a simple, open sharing of what we're experiencing in that moment enables us to control it or manage it, and for it to not control or manage us. Those two steps alone are great pathways to practicing mindfulness as we talk about our wellness as leaders. Over the course of this week, I'm going to unpack other areas and topics around wellness. Thank you for your patience as I had to disconnect so that I can feed into myself and feed into others. In the meantime, thank you for tuning in to the LightPoint podcast. Real leaders, real talk, real time.